like Grateful Dead? Okay, let's do a Grateful Dead song, okay? Deal? Yeah.
We have a deal.
We got a deal. gonna get her information.
Thank you all very much for coming out. How was the food? Edible? Yeah. All right, good. Thank you to the chefs and everybody who prepared it. Before I go any further, because I always forget this thing, if anybody in this room has any problem with one or another government agencies, the VA, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever it may be, we have a great staff whose job it is to do our best to protect Vermonters. So, So you have staff members here, all over, Kara's right there, and you have others. Any problems, anybody who has any problems, come up to them, give us your phone number, and we will get back to you or your friends very shortly, okay? All right. All right. What I wanted to do this afternoon, I don't have to, I think, tell anybody in this room that we are living in very crazy times, correct? And there are a lot of reasons for that, and I wish I could tell you there are some simple solutions to solve them. There aren't. But what I want to do is say a few words as to my sense of what's going on in the country in Washington, and then I'd like your comments and your questions. I'll ask you questions, you ask me questions. How's that? All right. All right. For a start, the world is changing very rapidly. All right, that's the way it is. The world has always changed, but because of technology, things are moving much faster than was ever the case before. All right? And then you got artificial intelligence out there, which is going to transform every aspect of our lives. And I would like in a few minutes to get your views on AI and robotics and all that stuff. But here are some of the concerns that I have, and let me tell you what we're trying to do about it. Number one, you are living in a nation today that has more income and wealth inequality than ever existed in the history of the United States. I remember when we were kids, we studied history, and there was the Gilded Age of Rockefeller and J.P. Morgan and Jay Gould and all those very rich guys. Remember that? The concentration of ownership today and the inequality is much greater now than it was back then or at any other time in American history. What does that mean? It means that while 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. You all know what living paycheck to paycheck is about. All right? That means people are struggling to put food on the table, pay the rent, pay for health care, pay for prescription drugs, etc., etc. 60% of Americans. At the same time, the top 1% now owns more wealth than the bottom 93%. One man, Mr. Musk, himself owns more wealth than the bottom half of American households. Got that? All right. Now, what is of concern is not just that so few have so much and so many have so little. That is a real problem. But what's an additional problem, these guys do not put their money under their mattresses. They use their money to increase their wealth and their power at the expense of working families. What does that mean? Right now, we have, in my view, a corrupt campaign finance system. All right? And what that means, as a result of a terrible Supreme Court decision called Citizens United, all right, billionaires are able to start super PACs, organizations, put in as much money as they want, hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, to elect the candidates they want and to defeat other candidates. Got it? Yeah. So for all of the billionaires in this room, and I know there are many, because you all know this is really a big fundraiser. They didn't tell you it was $10,000 a person. They forgot to tell you. All right, but in the real world, that is exactly what goes on. In fact, $10,000 to these guys is nothing. Hundreds of thousands of dollars is what they contribute. So what happens when you have somebody like Elon Musk himself spend $270 million to elect Donald Trump president?
He gets elected.
All right, that's right. That's right. But it's not just Republicans. You have billionaires on the Democratic side who also spend a whole lot of money to elect candidates they want. The end result of all of that is you end up with a Congress that does not represent the needs of ordinary people, not because members of Congress are stupid or they're evil. They're scared to death. All right, think about it. Put yourself in the shoes of an ordinary member of Congress. You get elected. You say, I think we got to do something about the broken healthcare system. Oh, then I'm going to have the insurance companies attacking me. I think we should do something about artificial intelligence to protect the kids. Oh, the AI people have hundreds of millions of dollars in campaign contributions. Can't talk about that. So what you have is a Congress where people are scared to do the right thing because huge amounts of money and 30-second ads are going to come against them and they're going to lose elections. So it's not just income and wealth inequality. It is a corrupt campaign finance system funded by billionaires and their super PACs. All right, those are two things. Then on top of that, let's look at the real issues impacting you and millions of other people. How many people in this room think our current healthcare system is working well? Raise your hand. I'm looking around, I don't see anybody. It's not. It is a broken, dysfunctional, wildly expensive, bureaucratic system, correct? Yes. All right. How many wealthy nations in the world do not guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Anyone know? You're living in it, all right? And this gets back to a corrupt campaign finance system. Your views, I've been all over the country, and I asked the same question in California, Nevada, in Illinois. Everybody has the same answer. The system is broken. Vast majority of the people believe that health care is a human right. So that is why a number of years ago I introduced legislation called Medicare for All. All right, what does it do? What does it do? First of all, it does away with all of the co-payments that now exist in Medicare. All right? No more out-of-pocket expenses. All right? Number two, what it does, it expands Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision. Now, it was a recent poll that came out, said 64% of the American people support Medicare for all, over 80% support expanding Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision. Because last I heard, teeth, ears, eyes are part of healthcare, right? So one of the struggles that we have, and I'm going to do everything that I can to see that Congress does what the American people want us to do, guarantee health care to all people. Now, I know a lot of my opponents out there, because, oh, this is a far-left idea, it's an extreme idea. So let me tell you what it does. It's a 4-year transition. First year, it lowers the age of Medicare eligibility, which is now 65, down to 55. Make sense? Yes. All right. It expands Medicare, as I just said, to cover dental, hearing, and vision. It includes all the children in the program. Second year goes from 55 down to 45. Third year, 45 down to 35. Fourth year, everybody is in. All right, that's what Medicare for. Now, some people say, oh, you can't afford to do it. The answer is, right now, most people don't know this. We are spending twice as much per person on health care as do the people of Canada, Europe, and other countries. Got it? You know how much anybody here knows? This is really pretty crazy. How much do we spend in America if you combine Medicare, Medicaid, the Veterans Administration, out-of-pocket expenses, what your employer pays, throw it all into one pot, divided by 340 million Americans. Do you know how much we spend per person on health care? Anyone know? Over $15,000. You got it? A year. So a family of four, $60,000. That's combining everything. That is double what they spend in Canada and Europe, and those countries manage to provide quality care to all people. Why is that? Why do other countries spend half as much and provide health care to all people?
Non-profit.
All right, right, you got it. What is the function of the American healthcare system right now?
Profit.
So the bottom line is, you got 85 million Americans uninsured or underinsured. Many of you are paying co-payments that you can't afford, and yet the insurance companies and the drug companies make tens of billions of dollars every single year. Now, running a healthcare system, whether it's Canada or Europe, is not easy. There is no system that is perfect. But if you start off with the goal of how do we make as much money as we can for insurance companies and drug companies, you distort the whole process. If you start off from the proposition, our job is to provide quality care to every man, woman, and child, it's a whole different approach. So bottom line, when people say we can't afford it, we can afford it. Right now, it's not just the profiteering, it's a huge bureaucracy within the healthcare system, because it is designed to make money. So I got to figure out how I make money off of your insurance, right? Well, maybe I make it so complicated that you forget or give up trying to get the coverage, correct? Happens every day. That's the goal. Why do I want to pay you? I make more money if I don't pay you. All right? Then we drive doctors crazy by saying you can only look at your patient for 15 to 20 minutes because you got to keep it moving, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So it is, the problems facing the healthcare system are deep, but we've got to take on the insurance companies and drug companies and move in a very different direction. Okay, that's. Let me touch on another issue that may be on your mind. You watch the TV, and you're going to see some guys getting up there and saying, well, it's unfortunate, but Social Security is going broke. And we're going to have to do something about it. We're not quite sure what. Well, may have to raise the retirement age, or so we can have 90-year-olds packing groceries. It's a good idea. Or maybe we have to cut back on those COLAs, because the seniors are really getting very rich off the COLAs. Or maybe do one thing or another. All right, so let's look at the facts. The facts are the Social Security Trust Fund will run out of money. It's the trust fund, and I can't sure, I'm not sure what it is. It's 10 years down the line or something, okay? All right, is it 32? Okay, that's the trust fund. And that's an issue that we have got to deal with. Now, the trust fund is the surplus. Right now, every worker in America is contributing to Social Security, helping you just as you help your parents. What is the solution to how we deal with the Social Security crisis? Should we be cutting benefits?
No.
All right, what do we do?
Tax the rich.
All right, how do you do that? What goes on? What's the structure? All right, if this gentleman here makes $10 million a year.
He's my friend.
He's your friend. Well, hey, how you doing? Everybody's friend. And this gentleman makes $184,000 a year. Who pays more into the Social Security fund? Well, they both pay the same amount. There's a cap. Somewhere along the line, somebody said, and the cap goes up every year by a few $1,000s. So in other words, Mr. Musk, who's worth $700-800 billion, pays the same amount into the Social Security as somebody making $184,000. The legislation that I have that's getting more and more support is what we call scrapping the cap. It's what AARP wants, other organizations want. You lift that cap. Not only can we extend the solvency of Social Security for 75 years, we can increase benefits for seniors, which is something we've got to do. One of the things that I learned, and I did not know this, and maybe you do, maybe you're living it, 20% of seniors in America are living or trying to live on $15,000 a year or less. Do you know that? I don't know how anybody makes it on $15,000 or less. Half seniors are making it on $30,000 or less, which in this day and age is very hard to do. So we have got to change our national priorities, and I don't say this just because before senior organizations or senior members here. We have got to protect the elderly and the children. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country on earth. So I think we got to get our priorities right. And the way you do that is to say, in my view, that at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, yeah, the billionaires and the very wealthiest people in America will have to start paying their fair share of taxes. All right? Okay, I've talked longer than I meant to. Let's take some questions or comments. Yeah, ma'am, just stand up if you go. We got a mic. Do we have mics here?
Yes, we do.
All right, here's a lot of words. All right.
Yeah, my question has to do, and I've asked several people from previous presidents on down, why aren't we also taxing on their interest? Because they are not paying on that. The kids have been living off of interest. They don't have to worry about finishing degrees and worrying about losing a job because families have the interest sitting in those millions.
The answer is we have a tax system which was written by the wealthy and their lobbyists for the wealthy. So I'll give you an example. Somebody like Mr. Bezos, you all know Mr. Bezos is? He's one of the richest guys in the country, worth hundreds of billions of dollars. He's the founder and major stockholder in Amazon. To the best of my knowledge, you know what his salary is? It's $85,000 a year. Okay, the guy's worth hundreds of billions of dollars. So what does he pay on $85,000? Very little in taxes. So you're able to borrow money at a lower interest rate and so forth and so on. So it's a system that can be easily manipulated by good accountants and lawyers. Yeah, stand up, sir.
Mine are, a couple of comments.
Yeah, there's a mic right behind you.
Mine are a couple of comments in terms of healthcare. When we talk about comparing us to the wealthiest nations, I suggest that maybe have your staff do some stuff because, very big countries like Iceland, Ecuador and Brazil, it's in their constitution that there's going to be health care. So it's, we're not inventing the wheel here. It's, I believe it was Winston Churchill that said the Americans will always get it right after they tried everything else. So to look at the rest of the world. The other thing that I would encourage your staff to do research on, when I speak with younger working people about Medicare for all, they say, well, my taxes are going to go up. Well, your taxes are going to go up, but so should your salary. You should knock on the door for a raise. If your employer is now paying $15,000 a year for your health care, we got a system of $10,000, there's $5,000 that should be lower.
That's exactly right. And smart employers understand that as well. All right? They don't want to have to deal with the health care costs. I remember when I was mayor of Burlington, going crazy trying to figure out how we could get the most cost-effective health care for city employees. And once you take that burden off employers, there's more money available for workers. That's exactly correct. And there's something else, by the way. I suspect that many people in this room know family members who are staying on a job, not because they like the job, but because they have decent health insurance for their families, right? So think what it means for people and for the economy when somebody can say, hey, I don't like this job, I'm going else, and I have health care. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, driving a taxi, running a corporation, I have health care. So I can move to any job that I want. That's a big deal. Yeah, ma'am? There's a mic right coming.
So this is not what you're talking about, but I am a supporter of the DSA. I'm a supporter of most of the candidates that you are working for and helping get. I'm a supporter of the DSA. I'm worried about the Democratic Party in the next cycle and how is it going to get together. You know what I'm saying.
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. I deal with this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As soon as I leave it, I'll be dealing with it. All right. This is a Senate meeting, and I'm glad, but you asked me a political question, so I'll give you an answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's on your mind. I'm here to answer any questions people have. Look, let me give you a broad stroke of where we are, in my view, politically. You got two major parties, Republican Party and Democratic Party, that are both in a significant way despised by the American people, both very unpopular. The Republican Party over the last, number of years went from what I would call a center-right party, conservative party, to a right-wing extremist party under Trump, okay? And what bothers me most is not just the right-wing extremism, it is they have become what we call a cult of the individual. You know what I mean by that? What I mean is that Trump, there was a time, look, Republicans like anybody else have differences of opinion. In this room, we have differences of opinion. It's called democracy, it's called America. But what Trump has said is that, oh, you disagree with me? You criticize me? I'm going to get one of my super PACs and spend millions of dollars. You're finished. And he has been successful in it. So he has, I talked to some of the Republicans in the Senate, and a number of them tell you, yeah, he's crazy. But, what can we do? They are frightened of him because of his power and his popularity among a certain subsection of the American people. So that concerns me. There was a time in both parties where, you belong to a party. Let me preface this by saying, as many of you know, many of you helped send me to Washington as the longest serving independent in the history of the United States of America. So my outlook is a little bit different. I caucus with the Democrats, always have, but I have differences with the Democratic leaders. So you got the Republican Party becoming right-wing extremists and terrified by Donald Trump. Now what do you got the Democratic Party? Well, the Democratic Party has a whole set of different problems. In the last many, many years, for a variety of reasons we don't have the time to get into, it is a party that is increasingly dominated by people who have money. So what happens is a couple of hundred people, just like here, come together, except all of them are multi-millionaires. And they sit around and they say, all right, who do you think should be the Senate candidate for Michigan? What about Minnesota? What do you think about Maine? Who do you think we should be running? You ready to put in a few $1 million to elect that guy in Maine? Or Michigan? That's what we need. So the party has been a party, and I ran into this, as some of you know, when I ran for president in 2016 and 2020. We took on those people. They have the money, they have a lot of power. So their view of politics is people with money help select the candidates. They raise a lot of money. They hire consultants who know how to do very good 30-second ads. They know how to do opposition research. And that's what the campaign is about. Okay? I have a different view of what politics is about. Okay? It's what we try to do here in Vermont, and I'm trying to spread it nationally. What we believe in is politics from the bottom on up, not from the top on down. What does that mean? It means that you encourage people to participate in the political process. You listen to what they have to say. You open the door to young people, to working class people who often felt not welcome. The people of color who often felt not welcome. And then when you open that door, you find out that the desires and needs of people is very different from a working class perspective than from a billionaire perspective. All right? What you have seen in the last year is the politics that I am fighting for getting more and more popular and winning more and more victories. It's been a long, hard fight. And it started a year ago with a guy some of you may know, Zoran Mamdani in New York City. And Zoran, who happens to be a really smart guy and indefatigable, I don't know how he goes 24 hours a day. Guy doesn't. In any case, Zoran, talking about grassroots campaign in New York City, which is a city of over 8 million people, he put 100,000 people into the streets knocking on doors to get him elected. So he had to take on the Democratic establishment, the Republican establishments, the oligarchs in New York City. That's what he had to take on, and he won. All right? And he's one of a very popular and good mayor. And by the way, just so you know, those of you old enough, how many people lived in Burlington when I was mayor? All right, some of the things that we did back then he's doing right now in New York City, and it's not an accident. He studied what we did here in New York City, in Burlington. So it's not just New York City. Right now, you may have followed a race in Michigan with a guy named Dr. Abdul El Sayed. Yes. All right? He's been a friend of mine for many, many years. This is what that guy had to take on to win the Democratic primary. He had to take on Michigan's Democratic leadership, popular governor. He had to take on the national Democratic leadership with a lot of money and power. He had to take on over $60 million in super PAC money. $60 million. He was outspent by outside spending something like 9 to 1. 9 to 1. Unheard of. And he managed to win the election. Okay? And a friend of mine in Minnesota named Peggy Flanagan did the same. Peggy's a very... All right. Bottom line, we're seeing these victories all across the country in congressional elections. So, to answer your question, there is a division within the Democratic Party. On one side is the Democratic leadership, and the other side are people like Mondani, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, myself, and others. All right? As of now, we are winning the struggle, but it's going to be a long, hard struggle. And I'm going to be very busy in the next few months to see that progressives, A, win elections, but in addition to that, Democrats regain control over the House and the Senate, because we've got to stop that. So my life is, you understand what I'm saying? I got 2 jobs. I want to make sure that we neutralize Trump's terrible policies by having Democrats win the House and the Senate. On the other hand, I want to see progressives win in the House and the Senate so they can force the Democrats to start standing up for working families. That's what my life is about. All right. Matt, right here. Stand up, the mic on.
Thank you. Some of the fears that I have happened. I lost my job for anti-Semitic comments online. Many people, union did not help. Many people are facing that word used like a scarlet letter. It's slung out without any context. I was being stalked by Physicians Against Anti-Semitism, a well-funded right-wing group like Canary Mission. I had a nervous breakdown after that. I'm about ready to lose my housing. I'm going to have to either move in with a friend in Finland or get a roommate. It's been devastating. And when those well-funded groups come after small people for political participation, they now have AI kill lists, they have tools, they have organizations that can dox you online and in your home. What is the AI and people like Rubio saying we're going to be called communists for wanting the things that you're suggesting, showing up to events that we're invited to in the city of Burlington, and like the Quaker meetings, which people got arrested inside the Quaker Hall in England. What safety when we're out?
Well, let me just say a few words on it. Anti-Semitism is a disgusting ideology. I'm Jewish. My father's family was wiped out by Hitler, all right? 6 million people died. So anti-Semitism is disgusting. What criticism of the right-wing extremist government in Israel that has committed horrible war crimes against the Palestinian people, when you criticize that, that is not anti-Semitism. And I've been subject to that, those same types of attacks. And right now, what worries me, it is no great secret, anybody in this room, this country has a long history going back to what the settlers did to the Native Americans when they first came here, of racism. We have slavery, we had Asian expulsion acts. It wasn't so very, very long ago, my wife is Irish, that there were signs up that said Irish not wanted. All right? Anti-Semitism. And now what you're seeing is Islamophobia on the rise. All right? There's just somebody who happens to be, and this is true with El Sayed in Michigan, who happens to be a Muslim. Mondani is a Muslim. Suddenly, these are terrible people because they are Muslims. So, in my view, we have got to combat all forms of racism against African Americans, against Latinos, against women. Sexism is alive and well, homophobia is alive and well. We have to do that, but your point is well taken. I mean, people have a right to speak out on issues of importance. What's going on in Israel, in Gaza, is, in my view, horrible. You're looking at a guy who has led the effort to stop funding the Netanyahu's war machine. So, all right, we got a gentleman right here. Yeah. Stand up, sir. All right, so mic coming right behind you.
I'm Mother Qureshi. I've adopted this country 50 odd years ago for two reasons. The people, one of the most open-minded people anywhere in the world, and I've lived in many, many different places. And second, the Constitution. But in the last 50 years, when I look in the Constitution, it's been violated by both parties, by business, and our generation have failed to look what is coming. If we had the check and balances 50, 30 years old, we had the energy and go and do something, go to jail or even hang, we would have started. So the result is that we have got a bunch of mafias. They have taken the government, and we still have got the time to get up, sacrifice our vacation, sacrifice our living standard, go and do the hunger strike or whatever, because our top priority is not us, our next generation. And many of them are sleeping on the street, drug addicts, and dying.
Okay. All right. Look, I will not deny that, Democrats have played a role. But right now, when you talk about violating and breaking the Constitution, what Trump is doing is unprecedented in American history, and that's really quite clear. You have a president who, in my view, and I don't want to make this, everyone knows my views on Trump, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but what makes him unique is he happens not to believe in democracy or the rule of law. You talk about the Constitution. The Constitution is quite clear. It is Congress that has the authority to go to war, not a president. So this guy woke up one day and said, hey, let's work with Netanyahu, let's bomb Iran, let's go to war. Happens to be illegal and unconstitutional. All right? Right now, he's biddled in trying to intimidate media. And the ABC criticize him. Oh my God! Imagine having a television program that criticized the president, trying to shut down ABC. All right? That's called authoritarianism. And we have never seen anything like that in the history of this country, not to mention ICE, which is a domestic army of Trump's. So you can criticize anybody you want, but what you're looking at in terms of Trump is absolutely unprecedented, a whole different level. And one of the reasons that Democrats have got to regain control over the House and the Senate is to deal with that issue. All right? Yeah.
Bernie, this is very close to me personally. What can be done to stop the ethnic cleansing and the genocide of Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza?
What's going on is awful, it is horrible, and it breaks my heart. And I think the simple answer is no, not another nickel of U.S. taxpayer money going to the Israeli military. And I will tell you, to make you feel a little bit better, is we have made some real progress on that. I introduced an amendment, I can't remember when, maybe a couple of years ago, saying just that, and I think we had, whatever it was, 7, 10 people supporting me. Next time we had 15, then we had 25. Last time around, we had 40 out of 47 members of the Democratic caucus voting to suspend military aid to Netanyahu and his government. And I think the Republicans are getting nervous about that issue as well, because a lot of their people are saying, for a variety of reasons, why the hell are we giving Netanyahu billions of dollars and you got people sleeping out on the streets when kids can't afford to go to college? So the sentiment is building. We're taking on very powerful organizations. The woman APAC is a very powerful organization, spending huge amounts of money. They tried to defeat El Sayed. They spent $30 million in Michigan. He won. They're putting money into other campaigns around the country. But the sentiment right now is growing all over this country that we should not be supporting a government which, in my view, has committed genocide in Gaza. All right, other questions? Yeah, woman in the back there. Yep.
I'm Jane, I live in Burlington, and I want to thank you for the MPAs that you started long ago.
Long time ago.
Yes, we participated in that, my husband and I just want to say, there are a lot of scared people, I hear you, but I want to thank you, Bernie, because you've got a backbone, you've got intestinal fortitude, and you've got to fight. And thank you, Bernie. Thank you for
First of all, thank you very much. And you understand, you elected me. We are in this together. Most of you did. All right? And I know you get your phone calls from your relatives in California or Kansas saying, why the hell did you elect that guy? But I think, you know, I am very proud of our state and our moral values. And I want to see this small state become a model for what America can and should be.
First of all, this is an honor. This is an honor, and thank you for this meal, and I hope I don't stop crying. First, thank you for your dedicated service for all these decades, and also for work on the water, the pathway for the Queen City. I just found this out, that you had worked on it with your colleagues. My question is related to AI.
Good.
Do you have any concerns about the possible manipulation of electronic voting?
Oh, all right, good. You're taking us to AI. Thank you. All right,
Okay,
I want to go there.
answer.
All right. The answer I have are, I want to spend a few minutes discussing this. I want your opinions as well, okay? AI and robotics both are the most transformative technologies in the history of humanity. Okay? Look, the world has always changed. When we were kids in Vermont, and I came here in my 20s, we had a lot of family farmers, guys dressed up in their work suit with green outfits, working hard. Many of those farms are now gone. People went from the farms to the factories. They went from the factories to the offices. Economy has always transitioned. But what's happening now is happening a lot faster and a broader way than we have ever seen in the history of the world. And my overall fear, before I get to your question, is this stuff is moving so fast, we are really not prepared to deal with it, okay? Does AI have some positive aspects? Yes, it does. I think it can help us diagnose diseases, come up with prescription drugs, do a number of positive things. But here is what I worry about. This is the broad view, and I'm playing an active role in the Senate on these issues. Number one, what will AI do to jobs in America? Okay? Answer is nobody exactly knows. Some people say, hey, not a problem. Yeah, you're going to lose your job, but she's going to gain the job, another job. It's always been like that. Don't worry about it. I don't accept that. Elon Musk, a guy I don't trust, I don't like, but who is not stupid. He says that the concept of work will be ended in the next X number of years, all right? That AI will be able to do anything that you do better than you do it. That we don't need you anymore. That all of the goods, all of the services that human beings need are going to be supplied by AI. You can just sit back and tend to your garden. All right? Is Musk crazy? I don't know in this regard. Huh? He may be, he may not be, but nobody knows. What we are seeing right now is in big tech, a lot of people are being laid off. There are a lot of jobs out there that AI can do today that workers used to. I'll tell you another concern, not talked about enough. I was in San Francisco, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I drove in a Waymo. Anybody here ever go in a driverless car? All right. I went into a Waymo, and you know what? It works. You press the button, you tell the machine there where you want to go, and it goes there, it's safe, more or less, etc. There are 6 million jobs in transportation. Right now, as we speak in Texas, there are 18-wheel trucks barreling down the road, and guess who's driving them? Nobody. All right? So you're looking at truck drivers' jobs, you're looking at cab drivers, Uber jobs, bus drivers. Add them up, there are probably 6 million jobs in transportation that could likely disappear in the next X number of years. Nobody knows exactly. A lot of entry-level jobs. Kids go into debt, they go to college, they start moving in a corporate world. Those jobs are disappearing. Now again, some people say, yeah, don't worry, there's going to be other jobs created. I am not so sure. All right, so that's issue number one. Are we prepared for the kind of millions of jobs that may be lost in the next decade? No, we are not. No. Number two, touching on the issue that the question asked, deals with privacy issues in general. We are in a moment, and that moment is going to thing about AI that everyone has got to understand, is it is not static. It does not go from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8. It goes from 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32 to 64. It grows on itself. The intelligence of AI breeds even more intelligence. So we're heading into, and some of you may have seen, I don't know how much was reported here in Vermont, last month, you had 3 instances from OpenAI, Meta, and Anthropic, where what AI models, what they call escaped the sandbox. Human beings lost control of them. They hacked another computer. I have talked to guys who are Nobel Prize scientists. All right, guys who helped develop AI. This is what they worry about. They worry that as AI becomes smarter than human beings, it will break away from human control. So then what you say, for example, you say to AI, okay, AI, how do we produce, I want you to produce more paper clips. Well, for AI, that's the only thing it needs. So it can wipe out humanity to produce more paper clips. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't have a context. So the danger is that AI could be acting independently of human control. That is a big, big fear. All right, give you another example. Talk about democracy, worrying about voting. Right now on, I suspect, the internet, there are videos of Bernie Sanders saying pretty crazy things. You know what? I never said them. So right now, AI is sophisticated enough to put words in your mouth that looks like you are talking. It's really quite good. What does that mean to democracy? What happens if a week before the election you have a candidate for president saying something absolutely outrageous, except he or she never said it?
The plan.
All right, well, I don't know what the plan is, but that is a real danger. Tell you something else.
Corruption.
Tell you something else, and that is the impact of AI on mental health, especially for our kids.
Yep.
All right, what does that mean? It means that a lot of kids are spending too much damn time on these things. All right, they're watching TikTok and everything else. Meta, right now, has been successfully sued for huge amounts of money. You know why? They are addicting kids to the screens, getting information about the kids so they can sell these kids all kinds of products to make money. All right, what does it mean? You tell me. You got grandkids. What does it mean if a kid spends 8 hours a day looking at TikTok or is on the screen? What does it mean? Well, tell me what happens to that kid?
Bad for their bodies.
Mushroom.
All right, what we are seeing right now is reading, if you can believe this, reading capabilities of our kids are in decline. Do you know that? They're going down. Writing skills are in decline. Cognitive capabilities are in decline. All right? What happens in normal human life, like here, all right? This is a normal meeting. Human beings are coming together. We talk, we disagree, we like each other, we don't like each other, whatever it may be. We are interacting as human beings. We have done that our whole life. Take a kid who is spending 8-10 hours a day on a screen. Is that kid learning how to deal with disagreements? Is the kid learning how to deal with disappointment? Love, all of the emotions that make us human beings. So I worry very much about kids learning to be isolated from other human beings and losing what it means to be a human being. So what the future that some of these guys want, you know, Mr. Musk and his friends, they want robots, not tomorrow, but in the future, robots to be teachers, robots to be doctors. You're already seeing that, all right? Robots to be your life companions, etc. Literally, on and on it goes. I mean, you're going to have people marrying robots, really. It is hard. So you got to take a deep breath here. And this gets really deep. It gets beyond elections, beyond democracy, beyond jobs. What the hell kind of world do we want to live in, and do we want our kids to live in? All right? What do you think? Now, that's my view. Those are my concerns. Tell me what you think, honestly. Let's get some hands here. Woman way in the back there. Stand up, please. All right, then you don't have to stand up. Use the mic, so you got to use the mic. It's coming right behind you. There it is.
I always want to be rock Wilson. So, hi, I just want to say I totally agree with what you were just saying about social emotional, what's going on. Look at the mental health issues that are...
Hold the mic a little closer.
Hold it a little closer. Okay, so social emotional going on with the children, families, people, mental health care. But I want to go back to health care for a minute because I want a little bit of... I appreciate everything that you're doing in that area. I have a hard time understanding what's going on with healthcare. So having lived in Europe for many years, I'm shocked. Teeth, ears, eyes, okay. But, so I had to get insurance to pay for pharmacy, which I didn't realize that. And I missed the payment, and all of a sudden they declined. And I paid in full for the year, and then they said, and now I'm getting a tax for life. It's not a lot, but it all adds up because every little bit helps. So I'm penalized for missing a payment, and now I'm working with a health advocate to try to get health care. And I'm being, whatever it's called, the tax on me is increasing because I don't have the health care yet.
All right, two things.
Unreal.
All right, two things. The gentleman right behind you, if you think our office can help, give us your name, and we can try to help you, okay? All right, but look, this is, again, you think it's crazy. If I'm the insurance company, I think it's great.
Right.
That's the goal of the system. All right, so,
Can I just say the health advocate, that's what she said.
Right.
They don't want you to know because that's how they make their money.
no kidding, that's exactly right. Yeah, okay, other questions? I want to stay on AI if we can. Yes.
Medicare.
All right, stand up.
It's the
Mike is coming.
pharmaceutical thing, whatever.
Thank you. I had a long career in information technology. AI disturbs me in a lot of ways. I'll add on to what you said, environmental concerns, where the AI data centers are going in. It's using up the water. The sound is driving the neighbors crazy, unending noise. But when they talk about the jobs going away and the shifts in the economy, I'm not seeing where new jobs are being created in this environment, but what's really not clear to me is where the tax structure is going to be. They're replacing people who pay taxes with an AI infrastructure that's not being taxed at all. So I would add those concerns to the
Yes,
picture.
absolutely. I'll give you one other example. This guy Jeff Bezos, who many of you know, he is putting together a $100 billion fund to quote-unquote automate factories. You know what that means? All right, that means the end of all manufacturing jobs in America, the end of all warehouse jobs. And your point is, all right, these people lose their jobs, who the hell's going to be paying taxes to support Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and so forth? a very legitimate concern. Okay, stay on AI, then we'll get off AI. Gentlemen.
Is there so I'm concerned about the military starting to use AI and losing control over our weapons.
A very, very scary situation.
One country is making it.
All right, we may have seen that already. I mean, without getting into this terrible war in Iran, a war that should never have been fought, a war that is illegal and unconstitutional. But above and beyond all that, as you may recall, in the beginning of the war, a school was bombed and hundreds, I think, of children were killed. There is reason to believe that that was an AI malfunction. But the idea that AI will be making the whole nature of warfare is being changed radically. And your point is a very important point, and it's a very scary point. You know, some of the stuff that we're thinking about, we're talking about now, people wrote novels and movies about 30 years ago. You know, it's good science fiction. I'll give you another example in terms of warfare. We are not far away from robots being effective soldiers. And what does that mean? If a politician doesn't have to worry, you know, one of the impediments to war, thank God, is that people, you know, presidents and prime ministers do not have to tell their constituents that their kids are getting killed in a war, right? Well, if robots are fighting those wars, what does that mean in terms of war all over the world? You know, that there aren't human casualties. So warfare is a very important concern regarding AI. Okay, gentleman back there.
Good afternoon, Bernie. Brought up how AI is concerning for our children. I'd argue that it's concerning for everyone because many of us, myself included, are dialed in on the screen watching TikTok or whatever. And now we have a crazy person in the White House using AI. So he's talking to George Washington, and you know, I can't even call it propaganda. It's insanity. If Congress is flipped by enough seats, will they have enough power to stop that man?
Theoretically, I mean, the answer is theoretically, absolutely. Congress controls the purse strings, and purse strings are pretty powerful. That gets back to the discussion we had a little while ago about the future of the Democratic Party. But if I have anything to say about it, and I do, we will do everything that we can to stop this guy's irrational and disastrous policy. Question right here, yeah.
So going back to AI and AI in the military specifically, and I agree with what you're saying, but I just want to raise the counter-argument because everyone else is raising the counter-argument. There's a lot of fear around China and China's advancement with AI and China's a national security issue broadly, but specifically, do you see a danger in if we restrict AI and China advances beyond our capabilities?
Very good question. And that is the criticism always leveled at me. You know, oh, Bernie, you want to do this in America, what about China? Okay, here's the story. I'll give you, a couple of months ago, I did something which provoked a lot of criticism from the Trump administration. I had a public meeting in the Capitol, with hundreds of people coming out, with two very prominent US AI scientists, and then on the screen, I had two guys from China. Okay? The reason I did that is precisely that America alone cannot address some of the existential threats. It's got to be done internationally. China is an authoritarian country. Do I trust them? No, I don't. On the other hand, their president, President Xi, recently said that it is important that the world community get together to address the crises, the potential crises facing AI. Now, when I brought the Chinese scientists into the Capitol to talk about this issue, I was criticized. Guess what? Trump is going to be meeting with Xi, and you know what they're going to be talking about? AI. So I think there is, way back in the 1980s, do you remember Gorbachev and Reagan? These guys had nothing in common politically, but they understood that a nuclear war would not be helpful to either country.
Right.
And they worked out some kind of nuclear deterrence. I think we got to do the same right now with China. So China has got to be incorporated in to the fold. And I think there is a willingness, and I've talked to Chinese scientists who are serious about wanting to prevent the same type of crises that would impact China as impact the United States.
Good.
So international cooperation is extremely important.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm wondering if there's anything
Here,
that,
is Mike coming?
what, besides calling our congresspeople, what can ordinary citizens do? We know we don't have to call you to do the right thing. But what can we do? What can we be doing?
I'll tell you what, that's a good question. I mean, we have friends around the country whose delegation is not as progressive as Vermont's. Peter is doing a great job in the Senate. Becca's doing a great job in the House. From my perspective. Other senators, other states do not have that kind of representation. So you can help work with your friends. Campaigns need help. Telephones go beyond the state of Vermont, right? You can get involved in phone calling. The other thing you can do, by the way, is we have got to rethink democracy right here in the state of Vermont. Let's not kid ourselves. This state has some very serious problems, right? Yes. And we have got to pinch up our sleeves. Why do we pay the highest prices in the world for health care right here in Vermont? What can we do about it?
Tax the rich.
All right, well, it's not just, I mean, it's, yes, but it's more complicated than that.
Yes.
It involves all of us demanding the government respond to our needs. It breaks my heart to see towns in rural Vermont, lose population. Kids are leaving. Farmers are going under. Not easy stuff. How do we retain small family farms in Vermont, etc.? How do we make sure that our schools are doing a great job? All of us can participate in those efforts. All right, maybe one or two more questions, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? At age 85 and 40 of those being spent here, I still feel that Vermont has more pluses and minuses. Before I get to my threefold question, let me thank you, Senator. I can remember when I was living in Burlington, and you came to the faith community and asked for advice or support. But I want to thank you for going around the state and around the country, speaking to the big T, truth. It seems to have gotten lost, and it is erased in so many situations. That's most unfortunate to us as a people. My question one, as it relates to, three rather, relates to the faith community. What can we possibly do, or what recommendations do you have there? Our currency and our coins say, quote, in God we trust. But you came to a meeting we had when you first were, we, faith community leaders in Chittenden County. And you said, I can deal with the politicians here, but I need support and arms and feet on the street from the faith community. Secondly, education. AI is, I think agreeably, garbage. It's about garbage in and garbage out, because what comes out is what we humans put into it. Right. And there are countless situations where people of color are not recognized by AI, and with the consequence that there's a double mounting ugliness happening there. Education. You made a reference to that. What can we as educators do? We taxpayers, and incidentally, you and the lady in my seat here took my earlier comments. I just met her, so it sounds as if we're in the same boat. The we is the question. The we is the underline, because in most instances, we are still part of this one human family where we can make a difference. But
all right, this is what I said. When you are intellectually bankrupt, when you have nothing to say about the crises facing this country, whether it's AI, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's climate change, whether it's income and wealth inequality, whether it's a corrupt campaign finance system, if you have nothing to say of significance about those issues, what can you say? How do you win votes?
Blame the immigrants.
Well, what you do is what demagogues always do. Trump didn't invent this. Right? It's gone on throughout the world, it's gone on throughout history. So do you say to people, you got problems? Oh, yeah, I can't afford health care. Oh, God, housing is terribly expensive. Oh, God, my kids' schools are not good. You know whose fault it is? It's A, B, C, or D. It's this group or that group. Right? In terms of racism in America, I am old enough to remember that the lowest paid white workers in America were in Mississippi, way back when. And you know how the employers got away with paying white workers very low wages? They could drink at a damn water fountain that a black worker could not, right? That makes you superior. So you're earning nothing. Oh, but I can drink from that water fountain. I can go to that movie theater. So what racism is about all over Europe right now, we're seeing it is an effort to deflect attention from the basic issues of income and wealth inequality, how you create a decent society for all people. And right now what we're seeing is a growth in, bigotry across this country. And what we have got to do is stand tall and say, it's an extraordinary. One of the beautiful things about this country is over the years, people have fought to become a more inclusive society. And we cannot allow Trump and his friends to continue to divide us up, which is exactly what they are trying to do.
Right.
All right, I see maybe one last question. Gentleman way in the back.
I agree with you 100%, but there's one area that I think we have a real problem with, and that is Democrats always seem to bring a knife to a gunfight. And the real problem, it's not just that, but I don't even think it's really critical that it's one thing for Zora Mondani to win New York. It's another thing for El Sayed to win Michigan. Don't you think we really have to put candidates up there that can win in their districts? Because all the things you're saying are great, but if the status quo continues, we're doomed. We have to break the cycle. The cycle has to be broken, at least in the House and the Senate. And something has to be done about the Supreme Court.
That is a very good question. And there are honest differences of opinion about, you're asking, how do you win elections? Okay? And that's a very fair question, and there are differences of opinion. In my view, and let's remember that Michigan is a very tough state. The current senator won by 0.2%, okay? So it's not an easy Democratic state by any means. I view politics is the way you win elections is you bring more people into the political process, especially people who for a variety of reasons have historically not voted. All right, when I run for office, or when El Sayed runs for office, something like 75% of people under 25 vote for him. Got it? Okay, it's true of progressives in general. Our job, therefore, is to get to these young people who don't vote in very high numbers. Okay? Working class people, what Trump has succeeded in doing because of, I think, a lot of white working class people have given up on the Democratic Party. I am trying to lead the effort to talk to those people, to understand, to make them understand that Trump is not their friend. Tell you a story. One of, some of you may know, I ran all over this country what we call a fighting oligarchy tour, all over America. And we had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people coming out. One of the most interesting events that we did was in Mingo County, West Virginia. I went to West Virginia because West Virginia voted for Trump to the tune of 70%. Mingo County, all white, voted for Trump to the tune of 74%. So I figured, why not? I'm going to go to Mingo County. Good place to go.
You were scared.
Well, you would be surprised. You had 400, got 10,000 people. You had 300 or 400 people coming out of a very rural county. And it was a beautiful meeting. These are people that can't afford health care. I'm worried about education. I'm earning terrible wages. We're worried about the drug epidemic in West Virginia. In my view, the problem is, in West Virginia, by the way, the Democratic Party doesn't even exist. Virtually non-existent. They've given up. All right, so what I am trying to do with others is to rebuild a party from the grassroots on up. I think you win elections when you have large voter turnouts. And if you may have noticed, politically, in New York City, in Michigan, in Colorado, in Minnesota, they have experienced record-breaking voter turnouts. So we are appealing not just the young people, but the working class people who say, it doesn't matter. We say it does matter. We got an agenda that speaks to you. Come out and vote. They are coming out. So that is, frankly, a difference of opinion between the Democratic leadership and myself. They think, hey, the electorate is this. I got 200 people here, and that's all there is. I say no, we can bring in another 100 people. 3/4 and will vote for us. Okay? That's the difference of opinion. But both sides, to be honest with you, are determined to win the House and the Senate again. We're working on that. All right. All right. On that note, I got to go back to figure out how we win the House and the Senate. Listen, thank you all very much for coming out. And
Thank you.
And a special thanks to the folks here in the Old North End. I started my political career by winning here in the Old North End. Thank you very much. Thank you.
tonight, we're the Rustics. We had a great time playing for this event for Senator Bernie Sanders, and the people here were just fantastic. So thank you very much.
Yay!